Okay, where are my women? We're gonna dive into food. 5 foods. 5 foods. I want you to incorporate these 5 into your diet. You don't have to do it every day, but how about every week? Because these 5 foods, it's like nature created them specifically for the female body. So on this video, I'm gonna go into these 5 foods. I'm gonna talk about why they are so great for you. I'm gonna show you some science, and I hope that you find that just like I taught you in Fast Like a Girl, that that fasting can be medicine, food can be medicine too for the female body. So let's dive in. Okay, the first food, I'm on a quest to bring this food back. It's soy. Soy. We started avoiding soy because somewhere along the line, we got the message that soy would cause breast cancer. Okay, soy is a phytoestrogen. So that means, phytoestrogen means it's a plant-based estrogen. When we look at estrogen, there's toxic estrogen. Those of you who ever run a Dutch test or a hormone test, we call that 4-OH. And it is toxic estrogen, and it causes breast cancer. And then there is protective estrogen. We call this 2-OH. And 2-OH, protective estrogen, is a very, very helpful estrogen, and you need lots of it, and soy provides that for you. So if you're not convinced, let me tell you a couple interesting studies. The first one is a 2019 meta-analysis that basically showed that women who added soy into their diets lost weight. Okay, why would that be? Because when we bring in these phytoestrogens and we get this protective estrogen up, it helps balance out the harmful estrogens. And it's the harmful estrogens that you're getting in your skin products, that you're getting in pesticides that are sprayed. So make sure your soy is organic. The pesticides that are sprayed on fruits and vegetables, that those are endocrine disruptors. So just like we've talked about omega-3, omega-6 balance, we need to talk about protective estrogen and harmful estrogen balance. Really, really important. So you would lose weight because you brought up your protective estrogen, which helped counteract the toxic estrogen that your body's been accumulating in fat. So then when I dove in deeper, I found some really interesting studies. I've brought this to you all before, but in case you didn't see this video, that actually there was another study that showed that women who are going through menopause, this is a 2021 review, found that if they were eating soy, their menopause symptoms reduced. Again, when we look at estrogen, we can't just clump everything in the estrogen category. Like estrogen dominance is not an increase of good estrogen. Estrogen dominance is an increase in the toxic estrogen. You want to use food strategically to increase this protective estrogen. And when you do, your menopause symptoms will be better and you'll lose weight, according to these 2 studies that I will link and put in the notes. I also have a really good, if you're interested in that topic, I have a really good Resetter podcast that I did with my favorite integrative OB. And we geeked out on phytoestrogens, so I'll link that in the notes here too. Okay, so where do you get soy? Well, I like edamame. I think edamame, because it's a soybean. It's the original source. You can get it in tofu. I like tofu or tempeh. Those are both. Tempeh sometimes people can handle better because it's fermented. But soy milk is highly pasteurized, so I'm not a fan of soy milk. But I am a fan of edamame and tofu and tempeh. So be strategic and make sure you're getting clean soy products. Okay, so that's soy. Are you ready for number 2? This gets better. Number 2, dark chocolate. Okay, yes, healthiest foods that women need. Now, the reason I like chocolate is for several things. I like it because it's got magnesium in it. So for me, at like the end of a day, I will, at the end of a day and I have my dinner, then a little square of chocolate because it just makes my brain happy and it's some magnesium to help me sleep. But the science says that there's some other really interesting reasons why you would want to have chocolate, is because it's high in what they call naringenin. And naringenin is a phytoprogestin that will naturally increase progesterone levels. So it's also, we know that dark chocolate is packed with lots of polyphenols, which is great for gut health. So let's look at the two I've given you. We know soy can raise the protective estrogen, and chocolate can raise your progesterone. When we're going through menopause, what's happening is this ratio is going off. So a daily dose of some edamame and chocolate, maybe not at the same time, although somebody should come up with a recipe on that, can really naturally help you balance out these two levels. And what I love too is that my chefs in Eat Like a Girl have so many chocolate recipes. When we sat down to build out this book together, I was like, I need lots of chocolate. It's amazing for women. There's so many reasons why we should do chocolate, and really good, high quality, organic dark chocolate. So if you want to know how to make some great recipes in here, I highly recommend checking out Eat Like a Girl. Okay, but here's what I think is really interesting about chocolate is that not all chocolate's the same. So make sure you're getting one that's 70% or higher. That's important. You don't want your chocolate to be like a 50% or milk chocolate. It needs to be dark chocolate. Okay, number 3 is wild caught fish. Now, wild is important compared to farm. Farm is basically they put it in a container and it doesn't have as many omegas, whereas wild, it's been out swimming in long distances and it has a lot of good omegas. So, not only is wild caught fish high in protein, which we need. So the thing about menopause in general is that we are really fighting for muscle, and wild caught fish really has a high amount of protein. So you're not just getting the omegas. I feel like the protein amount doesn't get talked enough about. So wild-caught fish is really important to bring that protein up. But there was actually a 2021 meta-analysis that showed that omega-3s in general can improve sex hormone production and can decrease inflammation. So this analysis actually went on to say that there are 10 different studies that show that omega-3s increase estrogen and progesterone production, that they protect against oxidative stress, and they decrease inflammation. So now we've got ourselves some fatty fish that's helping with estrogen and progesterone production. I actually see a meal forming out of this video. One of my favorite recipes in here that Chef Leslie made was a kimchi edamame bowl. Oh, so good. If you paired that with some just broiled salmon, which Chef Jeff put a really good salmon recipe in here, and then do some chocolate. Now you have yourself not only a yummy meal, but you have yourself a meal that's helping your hormones. So again, food is hormonal medicine when we use it right. Now, what are the fish that are best for omega-3s? It's an interesting one because salmon is the most tasty to me, but when we look at like really dense omega-3 foods, we have to be looking at mackerel and anchovies, sardines, herring. All of those can be really good. So if you like those fatty fishes, make sure you include them on a daily basis. Chef Jeff did something really interesting I was really excited about in Eat Like a Girl. He did a sardine tostada, and he actually created a little breading with some hemp seeds around the outside of it. Mwah! It is so good and a beautiful way to get sardines in. So again, get yourself a copy of Eat Like a Girl so you can get some of those recipes. But that's wild caught fish. So that's number 3 of the foods. We have anybody's mouth salivating yet? I'm hungry, I know, doing this video.
Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's going to teach you all the basics of fasting. It's going to teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's going to show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you got to do is click on the link below and enjoy.
Okay, number 4, the 4th most important food for women is actually a category of food, and it's complex carbohydrates. Now, I'm not a big fan of high carb diets. I believe that women should cycle high carb or higher carb with lower carb. In both Fast Like a Girl and Eat Like a Girl, I have talked about the fact that the two food styles I like are ketobiotic, that's a lower carb style, and hormone feasting foods, which is a higher carb style. So what I'm about to tell you would be great when you're in your higher carb days, your hormone feasting days. And here's what's really interesting. And by the way, if that's a new concept for you, what I want to encourage you to do is look at this higher carb the week before your period, or for my perimenopausal women, it's when the anxiety kicks in, or for my postmenopausal women, at least once or twice a week, I want you to include these complex carbs. And honestly, my favorite of all favorite, outside of chocolate, is a sweet potato. And there's a lot of different versions of sweet potatoes. So remember that each sweet potato has a different color, and each color brings a different set of antioxidants. So make sure when you go to the store, you get the purple ones. Sometimes you get the white ones. Sometimes you get the yellow ones. But sweet potatoes are great complex carbs for women. Squashes are great. Carrots are great. Beets are amazing. Chickpeas are off the hook. I love taking carrots and dipping it into hummus. It's a great, yummy meal, but also incredible for hormones. And then, of course, we have our legumes like lentils and beans. And we have it's funny because this video, there's over 100 recipes in here that will really support all of these foods. So complex carbs. Complex carbs means they have fiber, but the ones I mentioned specifically are great for women. Number 5. Ready? Berries. I love berries. I talk about berries, I feel like, on every video here. But the reason berries are great is that they're low in sugar, high in fiber, and they're packed with antioxidants. We throw around the word antioxidant a lot without really explaining what it is. It's like a multivitamin. Nature made you a multivitamin to protect your cells from all the toxic damage. So we want to make sure that we're eating lots of berries. And there was an interesting, we think of berries for brain health. My sweet friend, Jim Quick, I just love that man. I brought him on my podcast, and we talked a lot about the superfood power, brain superfood power of berries. And as I've researched berries more, it's really interesting. Like this study I just found that people who are overweight who ate blackberries, which are really great, showed a greater fat oxidation and increased insulin sensitivity. So let's maybe get out of the blueberry lane and get into like the blackberry. I know that my daughter lives in Idaho, and she was telling me huckleberries are really popular. I was like, huckleberries? I've never tried that. I can tell you by me here in California, a wall of berries show up 2 weeks out of the year, and I grab them, and they're so tasty. So different berries have different pack a different antioxidant punch. But what's interesting about this study is that they're finding that the blackberry actually can show a greater fat breakdown. That's what oxidation means, and that it can increase your insulin sensitivity. So remember how I talk about hemoglobin A1C all the time? What I'm saying here is that you can add blackberries in to really improve that hemoglobin A1C measurement. Again, food is medicine when you know how to use it. The other thing about berries is it can slow aging. So those of you that are looking to slow that process down, the polyphenols in berries really help to preserve brain function, which is what my sweet friend Jim Quick taught us in the Resetter podcast. So they're yummy. They help with insulin sensitivity. They help you break down fat, and they keep you cognitively performing cognitively well. And they taste good. It's not like I'm giving you a horrible food to eat. So let's bring berries back into the conversation. So some of the berries that you might look at. Strawberries are interesting. Be careful that they're not sprayed with pesticides. Blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, cranberries, because they're a little bitter. Remember, all bitter foods help the liver, and we need the liver to break hormones down. So you do have a good selection there, hopefully, especially if you're in the summertime where berries are prolific. But those are the 5. Okay, soy, we had dark chocolate, we had wild-caught fish, we have the complex carbs like the squashes and the potatoes, and then we have the berries. Okay, where are my gals that are struggling with hormonal imbalance? Bloated, feeling like you're not making progress with weight loss? you need to add these foods in so that you can support better hormonal health. There is a lifestyle that estrogen wants you to live, and there's a lifestyle that progesterone wants you to live.